Yeah, good evening. I just want to take this opportunity to introduce my technique strategies which I use while working through my final project. While working through my final project, I first and foremost introduce myself so that my students will be able to know the author of the tutorial which they are studying, in other words, which they are reading. And I choose three data structure, which are the get, linked list, and tree. And then I started from the topic one, which is the cake. I gave the introduction to cake. I gave the purpose of cake, which I explained to them the purpose of cake in my tutorial, and as well the performance of cake, which I gave them as well some code example, the cake implementation, the common errors that we can encounter while working through the cake or through programming cake, the common errors that most programmers um, find themselves into, and then I also gave them an assignment that they can at least work towards to build their own knowledge, or to in order to test their knowledge if they were able to understand my tutorial or not, coupled with some examples. And after that, I my second topic is the linked list, which again I gave introduction to linked list. After the introduction to linked list, I gave the reason we need linked lists. The reason linked list is required in our programming, the importance of faith, the importance of linked list, and I gave some lists that they can able to read, which I also gave the explanation of those lists, and I also gave them the type of linked list that we have in programming, which I mentioned those types of linked list that are required. And again, I walk them through the operations in linked lists. I gave the operation, the insertion and the deletion of linked list. I also gave them a code example of those as well, how to work on the operations of linked list. I also gave to insert a linked list, which I gave a code example as well on how to insert a linked list in a program, and also the node. At the end of my linked list tutorial, I also gave them, I've also mentioned the advantages and the disadvantages of linked list, which I gave them some types of the list of the advantages, and also the list of the disadvantages. And in conclusion, I gave them an assignment which they have to walk through in order to check their knowledge if they were able to understand my tutorial. And my last topic is the tree, which I was able to walk them through by introducing them the binary tree, make them to understand the introduction of tree, the reason the tree is important in programming, why we need it, and then I gave them the representation of trees, the representation which I gave them the representative which are the node of tree, data, pointer, left, right. I explained those as well to them. I gave the basic operation on tree. I gave the basic operation on tree, the anxiety operation of tree, binary tree, the types of binary tree that we will also have, and at the end of my tutorial, I also explained to them why we need binary tree in some programs, and then I gave a code example, or in other words, an assignment to test their knowledge and understanding, which they can work on themselves, and then check my responses, because I also gave a response to my code or to my assignment. I gave them a response. After trying their ability or their understanding, if they were unable to understand my assignment which I have given to them, they can go through the solution which I have provided, that in order for them to be able to get more understanding or whatsoever that is kind of hard for them to understand. Thank you.